Hi everyone, welcome to the next part of this planner video series. It's the first picture in the 2024 planner. Now for your homework yesterday, I asked you to, or suggested that you colour in the background of these two with number 302, the pastel blue pencil, and use the number 8 grey to do the background of here. And as you can see, I have done that. I've done it quite lightly and simply. I'm just noticing some bits that need redoing, but I have done them, and we're going to work on some of the details today. We can get started with the door, for example, sort of maybe work our way up through the middle. Obviously these two pieces are now sort of almost finished. We've got a few lines and bits to do, but nothing much. So we're going to work in the middle. So let's come in nice and closely like that, a little bit more maybe. There we go. So the door first, I think. Now we've used a fair bit of brown already in our picture for these sort of stones and things, but the shade, the number 76 shade, which is our Van Dyke brown, I don't think is this one. I think this is the darker brown, so I'm going to start with that on the door. I'm only going to use a light layer to start with. Now of course you don't have to do your door brown, you can do it any colour. But I like a wooden door, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm just putting down a gentle layer, a light soft layer, and then we'll move from there really and see where to go after that. It's quite early this morning. It's the next day from when I started this. I did my first two videos on one day. Then it started to get dark, so I thought the light wasn't very good for recording, so I stopped. But actually, it's only 8 o'clock. It's still dark outside. It's just starting to get light. So I'm just tidying up this, by the way. So it's not that much lighter, but I thought I would just get on because I'm quite excited to. This is 72. The dark sand. It's a very different colour. I'm going to put a layer on top just to make it look a little bit different to the other browns. Yeah, just excited to get on with this page really and do a bit more. And I think because I've got the light of the main light in this room on as well as the lamp, I think it's working light wise. It's very hard for me to tell, but hopefully it is. So just, you can see how this is looking a lot more orangey now with this one. Not too keen on the colour. I'm going to go back over it again with the 76 just to sort of tone it down a bit really. So yeah, it's quite early. I have had breakfast. Excuse me. I just premiered a video actually. I'm going to try and do a little more premieres if I can, but I always say that and want to, and then I sort of don't have the right time to do it. I mean, that was a 7:15 in the morning premiere, and normally I don't have the time. I'm going to sort of do these lines. I'm just going to sharpen actually. I'm just going to go over those lines that are drawn on the door with this darker pencil. Yeah, I don't normally have time in the morning at 7:15 to premiere a video. I'm normally busy making packed lunches and getting everyone to have breakfast and out of bed and, you know, all that jazz. I think I'm going to go around this edge in a really dark line. I think the door frame would be wood as well. But this morning, because I'm recording this still between Christmas and New Year, no one's out and about. My one son is up. He's supposed to be getting on with some work. He said he was doing something else first, but my other son's still in bed. Husband's still in bed. So this is a very wobbly lead. Look. Oh, well, never mind. So I'm playing now. Now I like to do a door handle like this in a metallic look. Quite tricky when it's so small though to produce something like a nice gold or silver. I don't want to do silver, we've got a lot of grey, So I'm going to try to do a gold, but I'm going to just do it really simply because there isn't much space. So I'm just going to grab the 16, which is our golden ochre, and just try and do it with that. So I need it very sharp for that looped part, which is where I'm going to go first. I'm going to make it a little more intense here and then try and fade it so that there's a white, I leave a bit of white at the bottom, and this one leave a bit in the middle, only the smallest bit, and hopefully it might look a little bit golden shiny. It's really tricky to do that in such a small space, but that's the best I can do. And we're going to deal with the window. We are going to use grey for that, but our very lightest grey, which is the cool grey, which is number 800. I'm getting quite excited because I've ordered the 72 set. I'm just going to do a little bit of a line on each one, a bit like we did on the windows higher up, but this is a little bit lighter because I've ordered the full set of these pencils, the 72 colours, and I'm excited to try them out, and I'll try them out with you. Starfish, I always like to do these in a gold. I'm going to do them slightly differently. I'm just going to grab the 49, which is the fawn, and do a little bit of an edge with that first. Yeah, I'm excited to try them in all the new colours, and I was trying to think actually this morning, oh, sounds like someone's in the shower, what sort of picture to try them out on, but a mandala's always quite good for a trying out lots of colours. I think there's another starfish here. I think those are the only two, so I'm going to try this out with this too. I found myself this morning when I woke up thinking about what colours to do the shells. You know, we've got shells around the edge. I can't see any in this particular bit. So going to go back to our 16 and do the centre of the starfish. I'm not going to leave a white bit, you know, like I would if I was doing an actual star to make it look shiny. I am going to colour it in solid. I don't think starfish are star coloured really, but hey, these are. Now, beginning to think a little more about colours. I'm thinking it's a mermaid's house, so there might be sort of feminine colours, maybe pinks, purples, that sort of thing. So I'm actually going to do these candles in pink, but maybe a reddish pink or a darkish pink. I don't know. 23, what colour's that? I think it's a Bordeaux. No, I think I'll go for the 25, which is our pink. It's rather a nice colour actually. And I'll do the candles. Let's give it a sharpen. Yes, I'm excited about seeing what all the other colours are that you get. It's quite a good range, to be honest, anyway, in this set. Now I'm thinking, do we match like our candles and our crockery? I'm thinking yes. I want to do all the plates and things in this colour. Make it look all pretty. We have got a little rim though here, so I'm just going to do the lower bit in this colour. And then leave that. I might even leave that brim bit white. Try and fade it a bit towards the middle. Like that. And then the same. Now this is striped, so I think we'll keep it striped. It looks a bit like, is it Port Merion that's the blue and white striped? But this is pink. It looks quite nice with the white. We'll see whether it gets left like that or not. I'll have to decide. I can hear loud, like someone's watching TV. They can't because they're upstairs, but whether her husband might be watching a film or something on his phone. So I'm pretending that this is like a matching set of items. I know we haven't done our candle flames, by the way. I'm jumping about a little bit. I try not to do that too much on video, but that's how I colour often. Sort of, oh, let's do all the pink bits sort of thing. Now this, we want to fade it towards the middle. I'm going to try and leave these white if I can. I'm going to have to go a little bit more slowly to make sure I don't colour over them. Now we don't want to leave our centre completely white, but if it's a little bit lighter, it looks like we've got sort of shine on our china. And that there. Yeah, I found out yesterday that we're getting some guests on the 29th, which is tomorrow afternoon. Brother-in-law's popping in with his teenagers. That's going to be lovely. Haven't seen them for quite a while actually. I'm just thinking if there's anything else. I am going to do the spoon. Now I know that seems very odd, and normally a spoon wouldn't be like plastic or china or anything, but it would normally be silver, and as I say, we've got so much grey going on that I don't think we're going to pull that off, so I'm going to do it like that. Now we need to think about the food. Actually, let's just take a step back and do these candles before I forget. I'm going to do the flame in just 2 colours because it's quite small. I'm going to use this 42, which is our light orange, for the bottom of the flame, and then just a yellow for the top. It's going to be quite simplistic because of it being so teeny tiny. So a little bit there, and a little bit there. And then the, yes, the sand, it's number 11. Number 11. And just colour in the tip, well in fact probably all of it, and then circle around. We'll do a little bit lighter in the number 1, which is our yellow. Now this bits I want to do the same colour as the shells, and I haven't fully made up my mind what colour I'm doing them, which is why I have procrastinated. I think I need to hurry up and make up my mind. I know what I'm going to do. It's what I thought about when I woke up. We'll do them in the peach. This is the 43. Let's do them in that colour. It's a fairly pale colour. But what I think I want to do is to not do them just in peach. I'm going to go over them in the 25, so they're slightly pinky peachy. Really lightly here. I quite like that combination of colour, like that. And I shall do the shells around the edge in that later, so I've left them, but we'll move along. Now I'm thinking maybe a little bit of blue on the cloths might work, if I can find the right colour. Yes, 63, which is the Delft. I think that's the right shade. And the cloth here, just I'm trying to keep it fairly light because this is quite an intense colour. If I put down too much, it will really make this area stand out. Now the edge of the cloth, I want to leave white again, like it's a bit of lace. Now the food, we've got what looks to me like cinnamon rolls and cereal. Is it breakfast? I don't know. So we want something quite light. I feel like maybe, I'm tempted to do that colour. I don't have, where's my 73? I can't find it. Is that it? Yeah, it's quite dark. I think we'll use it 73, which is the burnt sienna, and I'm going to be quite gentle because we don't want them to look like they're burnt, even though the colour says burnt. And you might want to leave them white like they're glazed with some icing, but I think because we've got the white underneath, and I'm just going to do this like it's a sort of cornflakes, bran flakes type mixture. Don't know, maybe that's a little bit too orangey. Never mind, we're going to move it up slightly and we're going to do the fish, as I say, we're just going to sort of move up and go through the page. Now I've decided to make the fish purple, sort of violet. So I've got number 6, which is the violet, which I'm going to use for their tails and fins, and then the body's slightly lighter, I think. So yeah, number 6, it is called the violet. It's a little bit fiddly, quite small. Just do the best I can. And we'll do the other fish at the top as well in the same way while we're at it. Now I'm doing all the fish the same colour. You may not wish to, you might want to change it up a bit. Here are the fish up here. Do all their fins and tails as well. I'm trying to be fairly intense with my violet. I will do the same with the lavender when I do that, because it's quite similar to the grey-ish. So I don't want us to get a little bit muddled and the fish just sort of disappear into the rock behind. This one, trying to work out whether this we're going to finish today or not. I'm not sure we will. So many little details. It's not a race. This is 62, which is the yes, it's the lavender, isn't it? Can't find it on my list. There it is, lavender. Yeah, I don't want you to feel rushed, and and for me to rush it either. I do like being a little bit dark on the edges of my fish, if I can be. Not sure how much that shows up. I just realise you can't see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. There we go. Just fill them out as they bob along. And then the ones at the top that you were looking at before, that when I wasn't doing anything. Sorry, you couldn't see. These are quite small. I'm actually not worrying too much about making them darker on the edge as much as just making sure they're dark enough entirely. Excuse me. And I think our next step will be to do all the shells, because I've decided, sorry, just moving my pencils, how I'm going to do all the shells. Now we have shells in quite a lot of places. I'm coming out so you can see it also, I don't forget to move the book. So we're going to use these two colours. So remember, we used the 43 and the 25 for these ones here. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to use the 43 first, which is the light peach. I'm going to use it for every shell, so even the ones around the edge. So I'm just going to do a light layer here. Try to keep it even as you can. Oh, there it is. I'm just trying to work out where they all are. I think they're only around the middle panel. Excuse me. And that one, and then this one. Then all the ones around here. And we have some around the windows. All of them. Oh, there's one there, look, on the shelf. And then we have the light, which is a shell And you could do some shading on here to make it darker in places. I'm just going to colour it in plain. I might do some shading after, but I think it might be okay without it. Try and get it fairly even. I'm not very good at getting things even, I'm just doing the best I can. Now I'm going to grab the 25 hour pink and go back over all of them in a light layer to change their colour to a prettier salmony pink colour, like coral, I think. All on all of them. And doing this is beginning to help me to decide what to do with the rest of the colours and areas on the page as well, which is useful. So it's made me decide that I'm going to use this pretty pink colour for all the edge, the bit around the edge that looks like a sort of rope. I'm going to do it all in this colour in a minute. Excuse me. Once I've put enough down on this lamp, and obviously I've still got these to go. I'm thinking a little bit ahead of myself, aren't I? I'm going slowly here because I want to try and get it fairly even so that we don't get patches of just peach and patches of just pink. But that's there. There are our shells. So now I'm actually going to go do all this edge bit in this pink. Now I'm not going to try and make it look fancy. Again, it's quite small. I'm just going to block it in all the way around. And just might work my way round. And this is very meditative because it's quite easy. You don't have to rush. Just enjoy the process. Of course you can do a different colour if you want, and if you want to you can do a bit of shading so that it's a little bit darker here, top and bottom of each section. But on this smaller version, for me it just feels too small to bother with that sort of detailing. So I'm not. Just going to keep our slightly corally look using this colour. I'm not going to do any other colour though. This is the only colour we're doing on this bit. So you think about how dark you want to go with it. You know, whether you want to layer it up a bit to make it more intense, whether you're happy with it in a lightish shade like this. These harder pencils do mean that you can get a nice light tone to things if you wish to. I'm thinking again about getting the new set. I wonder when it's going to arrive. Problem is our post is very unreliable, but it depends whether it's coming by the post, Royal Mail, or whether it's being delivered, because I ordered them off Amazon. The Amazon delivery people are much quicker, but they don't come until 6 o'clock at night, whereas the post tends to come around lunchtime these days. Oh, now is little. The post would always come very early in the morning, and then you'd get a second post around lunchtime. So your first class and second class stamps used to be that the first class stamp would arrive first thing in the morning and the second class stamp would arrive slightly later in the day. Nowadays your first class stamp arrives between 1 and 3 days in theory, and your second class is between 3 and 5 days. But where we live we only get letter post once a week, twice a week, something like that. So yes, probably twice a week, which means that all the first and second class come at the same time. So there's almost no point in putting a first class stamp on because it makes no difference here. However, when I post letters to other people, it does seem to. So I posted some letters on Christmas, no, the 22nd of December, was it? Or the 21st? They arrived before Christmas. To the people I sent them to in the UK. I sent some ones abroad as well. They wouldn't have arrived. But that was okay. They didn't need to arrive before Christmas, but they obviously foreign post takes longer anyway, and that will depend on, well, as it does in the UK, how good the post is at each end. I think the problem with post at the moment is that there aren't enough delivery staff. People don't want to do the job. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil because I'm now going to do another bit that's quite fine. There's a fine line around this, and I'm going to do it in this colour. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying that you can't rely on the post, but I don't think it's their fault. There's just not enough people. It seems to be a lot in a lot of businesses. There's not enough people, not enough employees to be able to do the work. They have the same with our buses and our trains. The buses have the problem where during lockdown, a lot of people were relying on deliveries, and people weren't using the buses because, you know, they weren't allowed to for a while anyway, and then you could, but, you know, it was risky, people didn't want to, and same with trains. But anyway, so a lot of the bus drivers, because their driving licence also allows them to drive lorries, they went off to drive lorries because there was a shortage of lorry drivers, and so a lot of companies increased their wages that they were paying lorry drivers. And so a bus driver or a driver could earn a lot more driving lorries than they could driving buses. So we lost a lot of bus drivers that way to driving lorries. And obviously driving lorries is also very important, you know, for food deliveries, things like that. But I think it was partly due to the fact that after we left the EU, I'm going to do this vine as well. A lot of drivers went back to Europe. A lot of them had come from Europe, and so there's been a bit of a labour shortage ever since, although some people who wanted us to leave the EU deny it. The thing is, I think one of the arguments for leaving was that it meant that there would be more jobs for UK workers, because there wouldn't be so many foreign people coming in to do the jobs, which was fair. But it seems to me that even though there are now a lot of vacancies, obviously those jobs were being done by people who had come in from abroad, because people in the UK didn't want to do them or didn't have the skills to do them, or we just don't have enough people to do all the jobs. So that's how I see it, but you know, other people, as I say, would argue differently. It's just a shame that it means that we've got different industries. I'm doing these little circles, little teeny tiny circles. Certain industries are a bit short-staffed, but it's just the way it is. We just gotta work with it, I suppose. And I think something that's important is to not be angry with people about it. You know, it is annoying that we don't get post as often as we feel we should, but getting cross with the postman or the post office is not going to resolve the problem, and it's just going to make you feel more angry. just have to accept that's the way it is, and that it's not those people's fault. Even getting cross at the government, which a lot of people think do, is not helpful really, because it just makes you feel angry. It might be their fault, it might not be, it might be a combination of things. Now I'm going to use the number 43 to do all this little background area, just a bit around here, but lightly. So I'm just going quite fast and light. Now I had considered doing this in blue to make it look like water, but I did that last time and I think it looked horrible. So I'm trying something different this time, making it just like a sort of corally looking framework. I think it would just look a bit more bright and pretty somehow. I'm quite liking this. You don't have to do it this quickly. You can pause the video and take your time. Now you can go over the top of the colour you've done already. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to leave this little edging in white though. Now I might end up going back and redoing this later to tidy it up a bit, but I can't really see very well. The problem is my light is quite glary and makes it hard for me to see what I'm doing. It's a good excuse anyway. But it just gives you an idea. I mean, you could do this as your homework at the end, but I want to do it so that you can just see what it looks like. You know, before I end the series, because this will be the last video now. I'm not doing inside those circles on the corner, leaving those white. You can choose whether you do that or not. Now, just have a few details left. The first thing I have to make sure I remember, let's come back into it a bit closer, is the light hanger. Can you see the light that's got this line? I'm going to do that in a green because I think for me it looks like a bit of vine or seaweed. I think I'll just use the 5 because we used that before for some of the greenery, so I think it sort of makes sense for it to be the same colour. I don't want it too dark either. Again, I don't want it standing out as a big feature because it isn't. Now we have these little grassy bits here, which I'm also going to do in the 5, but I'm going to sharpen it first. There we go. Now we have this sort of clock and the box. I'm going to do these in dark browns. We have the 76 out. Let's push that up a bit. We also need to do the shelves, so I think I use the 76 for the shelves. Nothing too special, just blocking it in. Now yes, there would be shadow under the shelves and things like that. Not too worried. Now with this clock, I'm going to do some of the little details in this in a fairly intense layer. Oh, that lead's wobbly, I forgot about that. And then I'm going to do the rest in my other brown. Like that. I shouldn't have done that, I think I'll do that bit. And around here, I'm not sure about that clock face. I don't think I'm going to do that in brown. Like that. And for this, I'm going to do these sort of bits in this colour. There we go. I'm just going to grab the 16, our golden ochre, to do the clock face. I'm going to go across, fade, across from here and fade and leave a white bit to try and make it look a bit shiny, and on the lock I'm going to leave a little bit of white and here just to try and make it look a bit metallic. It's quite difficult with such a small area. And our last brown is the 77, our dark sepia / Van Dyke brown, and I'm going to do all of this. and fill it in. Just checking you can see, yeah. Now the little stones, we did do all our stones in brown, but as we've got this brown chest, sorry, it's not going to work, so I'm going to do them in grey to just sharpen this. I will do those in a minute. So just filling in all the rest really in this dark brown. I feel like this is a wooden clock. Reminds me of one that my grandfather had. It's a chiming clock he used to have. He used to wind it every night. Had a little keyhole in the front, and it would chime like Big Ben. So on the quarter of an hour it would go ding dong ding dong, and then on the half hour it would go ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong, and then at the 3/4 it would add another chime, and then on the hour it would add another chime, and it would strike the number of times for the now just choosing my stone colour. So the background there is, I think it's 85 or 8. So if we do those stones in 83, pretty sure it's not that colour. This is our dove grey, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm just looking. I've coloured everything I want to colour, but I'm going to use some white pen to do a few highlights before I finish. So I'm just going to come right out and show you the full page and grab my white Posca. Let's give it a shake. Now, let me just scribble it on my scrap paper. Okay, so all these rocks, I think they need some shine. So I'm just going to put some little lines or dots on. I'm doing it on the left side. I don't know why. I'm going to do the ones on the other side on the right hand side. Again, I don't know why. You can take your time on this. I'm doing it quite fast, but I'm quite confident that either I know what I'm doing or I don't mind if it isn't perfect. Probably both. Also, I don't want to hang around too long, or else you'll get a bit bored. Probably. I can't believe no one's up yet. I'm doing so much work. Now with these ones down here, I'm putting shine on like the others, but you might want to do a bit of shadow between them where they overlap if you wish. You don't have to. Now I could do some dots on the greenery as well, but I don't think I will. Now over here I'm going to do some on the fish, on the top of each fish, a little bit of shine because their scales will be shiny. Put a little bit on the edges of the box and the sides of the clock like that. Not a lot. Just all we need to do these bubbles. We don't have bubbles from the other fish, but we'll just do them in the white. Like that. We'll put a bit of shine on the edges. Now here I want to do my shine on both sides. We can do these lines. These lines that are drawn on for the candle shine, I'm putting some white ones around it. Not going over them because it will just look like I've erased them. Now we need to do these stones. Now I think the ones on this side are shine on this side. These I'll vary it, and these I'll do on this side. There is method in my madness. Yeah, I think that'll do. And then over here, I'm going to do the shine on the right hand side of these. I don't know whether that makes sense or not. In my brain it does. In my very early morning, half asleep, still brain, it makes sense. As I say, you can do some dots and colours on the plants as well if you want. I think it might get a bit too much. Can you have too much white pen? Some may say yes, some may say no. And you might also, if you are in the mood for it, I don't think I will, do some glitter on the framework. Just some, you could either use some stickles or some glitter glaze like the Sakura number 700, which gives you a bit of a shine but with no gel colour. But I think I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, so there is our, what is it? Mermaid's house. So there we go. So yes, we are done. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a go and coloured along, or you know, even if you didn't do the same thing. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, thank you so much for watching and happy colouring.